listening to Bear Friend Tea Party, the world's only podcast where some guys sit around and talk about things. My name is Christopher Winter, and I'm joined on the podcast tonight, as always, by Jeremy Mullis of North Carolina.
Hi.
And that's all.
No, John's coming.
Yeah. Jonathan Bumpers of Portland, Oregon, will be joining us shortly.
The Colonel.
D. Gunnard Beamish of New York State. I don't know. He had what did he have going on?
He just said he couldn't do it. He didn't even make up an excuse. Spit them seeds out.
Does that mean it's probably work-related or marriage-related?
Well, it could be a combination. Sounded like he probably just had shit to do. But yeah, could have made up an excuse. I made up an excuse last week.
Yeah, we didn't even meet last week as a result.
Well, to my credit, I did give you like a couple weeks' notice that I would be at that fictitious Monton Soul accordion band show.
Yeah, how was that? I mean, now that you're, for the benefit of listeners, we were supposed to record last week, but we were not able to for a variety of reasons. One of them being Jeremy went to a Monton Soul accordion band show, which did not happen.
That was fictitious. No, we actually went to see Nick Cave that night.
Oh, yeah, I saw Nick Cave was in town. He's Australian, you know.
I did know that, or at least I've known that before, and then sometimes forget it because he doesn't sound that Australian when he sings. It was not very good. I think he was really phoning it in.
Okay, John, we're going to play a game. Jeremy recently strangled a bird to death.
Oh, that's colorful.
You get 10 yes/no questions to guess what kind of bird it is. What kind of bird it was.
Oh, yes or no questions. Okay.
Yeah, 10 yes/no questions.
Okay, I'm ready.
You're supposed to ask the questions.
Well, I didn't. Okay. Okay. Question number one. Did this in fact happen?
Yes.
Okay, I kind of wasted that one.
Yeah.
That wouldn't even help you. Whatever the answer was, it wouldn't.
If it was an imaginary bird, is it a bird?
Yeah, that's true.
Was it a bird?
That's a fair question.
Was it a bird that people normally eat?
No.
Oh.
I thought you were going to say, was it a bird that people normally strangle?
That would have, again, been a funnier question, but not as useful.
People sometimes strangle chickens. They wring their necks.
Yeah, that's what
farmers do.
That's where I was going with that. Was it... What? Yes?
You don't strangle. You don't strangle a chicken. You break its neck.
I think some people strangle them, don't they? I mean, maybe you're trying to break
you
its neck.
strangle a chicken if you catch it messing around with your wife.
Ooh. I thought strangling the chicken was a euphemism.
Oh.
No, I don't. Oh, choking the chicken.
Choking the chicken.
Is that an upright bass?
No,
it looks like an upright
No,
bass.
it's a cello. It's an upright cello.
Sucks.
Fuck you guys.
Okay, question 3.
Wait,
John.
Yes.
Ask him if it's a flightless bird.
Oh, is it okay, you're making this too easy.
No. I'm trying to help you here. Ask him if it was a flightless bird.
And that's why you're making it too easy. Was it a flightless bird?
No, it would have been a flighted bird. A regular bird.
Standard bird.
Was it a bird that is normally seen in a zoo?
No. That
Okay.
would have been a lame zoo exhibit.
That's question 4. Question 5.
Did the strangulation take place on or near your home?
Yes. Yes, it did.
Okay, in or near your home, I guess I should have said.
Question 6.
Question 6. Was it a pretty bird? In your opinion.
Not really.
So,
I
are
would
you
say
suggesting that Jeremy is like a serial bird murderer? Like he finds the prettiest birds he can and strangles them because they're too beautiful to live?
I hadn't really planned it out that far, but yes. Yeah, I'll say I was suggesting that.
Okay.
Um,
Okay. Question 7.
I haven't been keeping track of your answers, by the way.
I don't think you've
That will
asked
make
any
it harder to-
helpful questions anyway.
Well, he
need
knows
to
it's not a
bone-
flightless bird.
You need to bone up on your bird lineage.
Was it smaller than a bread box?
I should have said taxonomy. You're asking if the bird
Yeah,
that
do you wanna
strangled
take that
to
again?
death... You're asking if the non-zoo bird that I strangled to death was... No, it was smaller than a bread box.
Was it a crow?
Question 8.
Was it a crow?
It was not a crow.
Okay, if it was Sheryl Crow, that counts. Was it Sheryl Crow?
It was,
Yeah.
it was not that bird.
I think we can all agree that crows are asking for it, though.
Does the Sheryl Crow question count as another question?
No,
that was question
that was
8A.
covered in question 8.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Was it a oh god.
In either case,
There's
no
so much
court in the
pressure
land
here.
would have convicted you.
Give me
Question
okay.
9.
Was it
Ask
okay.
him if it was a penguin.
No, I don't think I'm going to ask him that. That seems like a fruitless line of questioning.
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously not,
Yeah.
since he said it's flighted and
Ha-
not a zoo bird.
Right.
How many questions do you have left?
2.
100. 2? Oh, I thought this was 20
2.
questions.
You're on... No, you get 10 questions.
Oh, man. Okay, well, I wouldn't have wasted the first 8.
I mean, we already
were
saved
just
you a lot
showing
of trouble
off.
by... We already saved you a lot of trouble by telling you it was a bird.
That's true.
He could have just said something.
Did you strangle it to death to impress a woman?
Oh, yeah.
That's your answer?
It's I guess in part, I would say. In part.
That was not a yes or no.
I will say no then.
It sounded like a yes. to
Yeah,
me.
I
If
think
I-
that was a yes.
If I look, I think it is more misleading to say
Let
yes.
the record show that Jeremy said yes to that question.
So just to be clear, you and Sarah were sitting like out on your back patio, and you were like, "Hey Sarah, I bet I could strangle that penguin to death."
You know what? Maybe I won't even tell this story. Maybe I'll save it for next week.
I think we've got the essentials down.
No,
Last
Oh,
question
right.
10.
Was it Freebird, the song?
No, that's not an acceptable question.
What? It has a yes or no
Can
answer.
I ask questions?
Yeah.
Can I?
It was a request.
Can I ask a question?
strangle?
Was it? I have a 2-part question. They're both yes no.
You don't
was
get
it a
questions.
Was it a talking bird? And if so, did it beg you to stop strangling it as you were strangling it? Was it like, "Oh, please stop strangling me"? Like that?
Number one, you already know what type of bird this is.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
And number 2, I have already established that this was a true incident.
Look, arguably, a parrot could beg you for life while being strangled.
That's true. If you trained your parrot for years,
you could train your parrot to say "Polly wanna live."
That is pretty clever, actually.
You would probably have to train it by strangling it all the time.
Yeah, well, you would use operant conditioning.
I think it was a robin.
Getting back to the topic at hand.
Oh, what is the topic?
Jeremy, why did you strangle a robin?
Oh, was it a robin? That's my last question.
I already said it was a robin. I think it was a robin. I'm not like a bird expert.
I think it's pretty clear that I was not paying attention.
No, that was pretty clear.
No, my cat, who we have talked about on this podcast.
Cashew or Duragoody?
Okay.
Cashew, the one that is actually my cat, brought this bird into the house and was like,
Right.
It was surprising because a robin is not a small bird and it was pretty sizable.
Right.
So, at the time I was like, damn, you caught that? But in retrospect, I think the robin had maybe been injured and she was just, trying to torture it to death then.
Yeah, cats love to torture.
Yeah, no.
They sure do.
And so I just, kind of shooed her outside with the robin. But then,
right,
and this gets to the point that the question about whether I did this to impress a lady, she was on our screened porch torturing this bird, and then my wife was sitting in the living room and kind of disturbed by what was going on.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, ugh, and I felt pretty bad for the bird because it was just kind of laying there twitching around, and then Cashew would come up and hit it. And
yeah, that sucks.
I was like, ugh, I guess I need to do something about this fucking bird because it's being tortured to death and it's annoying my wife. She can't just put on headphones or something. so I went upstairs and I decided I'm just gonna what do? You just Google it. So I was Googled how do you
You Googled how to kill a bird?
DIY bird euthanasia or what?
You Googled it?
Yeah, and there's actually a lot of threads on it. And
by the time he had finally read all the threads, the bird was dead.
Aren't you worried that you're on some terrorist watch list now for Googling that? I mean, I guess it's not that bad.
Oh no, I used a private tab.
Oh, you're golden then.
I used the Tor network. So no, there's a couple threads, and there's some seriously different schools of thought on this. And there's one school, there's a lot of people will chime in. Anytime you ask this question on the internet, people chime in and say oh, you've got to take the bird, put it in a box, and take it to the vet and have them euthanize it for $100.
That's insane.
That is
and I was
completely stupid.
Yeah, I'm not going to do that because it's not my bird. It's
whose bird was it?
And
Did
plus,
you ever find out
honestly,
whose
I
bird
did
it
feel
was?
bad for the bird, and I feel like that's going to be more traumatic. And then there's some people that go on and just kick the bird.
Do you think they were
feed it to your cat? And it's the problem is the cat's torturing it at the time. But I found one guy, and he was I live out on a farm, and I deal with this problem from time to time. The dogs are playing with a bird, and he suggested if you know what you're doing, you can break its neck, just reach down and then but if you don't know how to break a bird's neck, what's more reliable is you just choke it. You just reach down there and you choke that bird to death. And then he says in the description it will twitch around for about 30 seconds and try to gasp for air, and then it will die. And you know what? It's true.
Wow.
Yeah.
This is pretty real.
Did you wear gloves or just bare hands?
I did not. I did it with my bare hands. I did not enjoy it. It was actually kind of disturbing. I felt kind of freaked out for a while after that.
Do you feel you've lost some semblance of your humanity or something?
Well,
Or do you now feel more alive than you ever have?
Or do you now have a taste for it?
I think the answer to all of these questions is yes. I mean, I felt like that was a pretty awful thing to have to do. I also felt like that was a pretty manly thing to do. And I feel like the bird probably it was not going to live. It was just going to be prodded and batted around for a while. So I felt like, I did it a solid. By strangling it to death.
I think you definitely
No,
did.
I think in all seriousness, you definitely did. But
And that is a totally manly thing to do.
Agreed.
Let me ask you this. If it's not too indelicate, did you get lucky that night?
I don't remember. I think I may have been too
That sounds
disturbed
like a
by
yes.
having strangled a bird to death. I probably spent a lot of that evening saying Sarah, I feel really weird that I strangled that bird to death.
yeah, I think if you cried into her lap, I think that counts as getting lucky.
Yeah. That makes it seem a little less manly. I had a similar experience, actually, a while back. Couple years ago now. I fired a guy.
Whoa.
And I think it's kind of the same thing.
That's a similar experience.
Yeah, it's the same kind of thing. It was like
he flailed around for 30
fire
seconds
that guy.
and gasped
Somebody
for air.
had to put him out of his misery. Somebody had to make that phone call.
Yeah.
Who's going to do it?
You did him a solid,
Kota?
for sure.
Was Kota going to call him? No. Kota told me I had to call him and fire him.
Yeah,
so I did.
Is Kota a girl?
Was this guy even...
No, Kota was a dude.
Was,
he's
was this guy
Japanese,
even an
so
employee of
yeah.
yours? You had people working for you?
This guy was a teacher at the language school I worked at in Melbourne, Australia. He was a new teacher. We had brought him in as an emergency substitute, and we chose him because he was the only person who could start work immediately.
That always works out well.
After his first lesson, all of his students went up to the front desk and said that if he was going to continue there, they were quitting. And so Kota told me I had to fire him. So I did. And the sad part was, he walked out of that classroom thinking that he had done a really good job.
Oh, that is sad.
He walked out of the classroom and I was like, his name was Vladimir.
Aww.
And he walked out of the classroom and I was like, how'd it go, Vlad? Because I knew it was his first class. So I was a little concerned about him. I was like, how'd it go? Does it go all right?
And he said, I
trouble? And he's
impaled
like, "No."
them. It was awesome.
He basically
Right?
said that, yeah. He was really confident.
And then
going out.
everybody called him
And
Vlad
then-
the Impaler after that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I had to call him. I had to call him an hour later and tell him that he was fired.
Oh, that sucks.
Did you do it
Yeah.
quick?
I
So he
tried
wouldn't
to.
suffer? You're just you're
Yeah.
fired, click!
Yeah, I mean, I wanted to do it face to face because that's the respectful way to do it. But he had already
That's
left.
the manly way.
Yeah, it would have been weird to make him come all the way back to fire him.
I would have sent him a text.
Oh, You're fired from being alive. Hey, bird, you're fired. Yeah, from being alive. Hey, bird, you're fired. You're fired from being alive. Hey, bird, you're fired. Being alive. So, Jeremy, what's on the podcast tonight?
Segment 1, the top 10 least famous animals. Segment 2, Bear Friend Tea Party catchphrase search. And segment 3, pretzels, chips, or crackers?
Yeah.
Wow, this is going to be a lively episode.
I feel like
before we start,
I feel like this is going to be almost as good as the hay versus straw debate.
So yeah, the top 10 least historic animals. I guess the first thing we need to, basically
Parameters.
I'm just gonna throw this out. Stegosaurus.
There are several inherent problems with the question.
Okay,
Stegosaurus.
I feel like if an animal is extinct, that makes it more historic.
No, I'll tell you why Stegosaurus works.
Oh, because
that's not history, that's prehistory.
Oh, that's pretty good. Oh, what about... Okay, I've got one. Brontosaurus, because that's not even real, right?
Well, if it's not a real animal, then it doesn't.
How about dragon?
What about an animal I'm just making up now? The zahubra.
That's dumb.
That's not even a real animal. You're not talking sense now.
It's as real as the Brontosaurus.
Try and be serious. We're trying to have a serious discussion here.
I guess the first
thing. Okay, can I make a point here? I feel like animals.
I'd like to interrupt John.
I feel like animals the hell with this.
The first thing, no. No, John, what were you going to say?
Okay, so my thinking was that in any animal that has been purported to have existed in history but does not, or did not, is actually, in essence, less historic than a fictional one. Like, the Piltdown Man is less historic than a dragon. Because dragons were never purported to be a real thing in history.
Well...
That didn't make sense to me.
That doesn't make sense? Maybe that doesn't make sense.
Maybe I wasn't paying attention.
I think that...
That is probably also true.
I mean...
it's hard for me to understand you when people aren't interrupting you.
I think... Look, okay. I think that we should establish a couple guidelines. To me, the first question is... Are we talking about a species, or are we talking about a specific animal?
Oh, that's a good question.
That is a good question.
I think that if we're talking about a specific animal, like one specific instance of one kind of animal, like some random bird that, I don't think we're going to be able to answer that.
Right. So it's got to be a species.
Not a fungus, not a bacteria.
By what criteria do you judge... Well, bacteria are animals, technically, aren't they? No.
They're not part of the animal kingdom. Like, if you look that up, they're like in the same... I looked this up today, actually, because we were doing this, and they have sometimes been kind of grouped together with animals, but I think more commonly they are considered to be kind of a separate branch.
Protozoa or something?
No, those are separate again.
Oh.
There's like a ton of different kinds of fucking shit, and most of it isn't animals.
Can I throw another wrinkle at you? So,
please do.
Now I'm just spitballing here, but okay.
Anything that comes after that sentence is guaranteed to be hilarious.
So, I don't want to overhype it. What I immediately thought was...
Same thing.
What I immediately thought was the amount of time an animal has existed is an indicator... It could be thought of as an indicator of, quote-unquote, how historic that animal is. Okay, so for instance, anatomically modern humans are only, somewhere between 50 and, 200,000 years old, something like that.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Versus, sharks or alligators or something have existed in their...
Horseshoe crab.
Okay, or horseshoe fucking crab has existed in its basically modern state since, whenever the fuck long ago. Does that make it more historic? Because there's more of it in history?
Well, my first thought was that we should maybe try to plumb some of the minor phyla.
Nice.
Your like heartworms or whatever. I don't even know, what I looked it up earlier today. There's like, there's about like 5 phylums that have like all the animals in it, and then there's like 15 or 20 more that have, many of which just have like one dumb animal. The problem with those is then, like, once you declare them, like, if those are really so unhistoric, like, aren't they kind of, they're significant kind of on some kind of, as kind of curiosities on some level. They've been, like, important maybe in the history of, like, biology as, like, these kind of oddball species. So then I was thinking maybe you need to choose some animals that are, like, in kind of a crowded field where they're just, like, yet another, like, fucking rodent or a beetle or something, you know? That, like, no one even gives a shit about. It, like, lives in some dumb place. We'll, you know...
Speaking of which, say that your cat has caught a squirrel.
Yeah.
And it's torturing the squirrel to death. And your wife is like, Jeremy, you got to do something about this because this is disturbing. Would you strangle a squirrel?
No, and I'll tell you why. Because it's her turn.
Damn right.
Last night I went down to the to like our living room. I was like gonna go close the door because I was going to bed, so I was closing the door to the living room, which leads to our screened porch. And our neighbor's big fat orange cat was just like lounging on the love seat in our screened porch, just not giving a shit or nothing. Cashew was pissed off about that.
Cashew.
Take us away.
That's a great cat name.
You know what's fun? Okay, funny story about that. We got her like this spring, and we like drove her home, like, and we like decided in the car, like, what should we name her? What about like Honeycomb? What about like, I think we almost named her like Butternut or something.
Yeah.
Or no, and then I was like Cashew. So we get home and I was like, oh, that was an original name. What a great cat name we thought of. And then we tuned into House of Cards, which was had just come out around the time. And that, you know, there's that character on this recent season who is a hacker.
Yep.
And spoiler alert, he has a guinea pig as a pet.
Oh yeah, that's a
That's
spoiler.
not the spoiler.
Did you catch
the spoiler is the guinea pig's
Did
name.
you catch that the guinea pig's name was Cashew?
I did not catch that.
And I don't know if they had said that before, but like we literally like got home like that evening, the evening of getting our cat and naming her Cashew, we like turned on that show and then he was like calling his guinea pig Cashew. I don't know if he had called her that before or if it was just a weird coincidence.
That's frustrating.
Or if, like, I had heard that and I didn't care enough to go back and watch.
I have a very similar cat name story.
You named your cat Francis Underwood?
No. That's good. Actually, I would have named it Francis Urquhart, but... You know.
Oh, yeah. Up here.
Bam!
Bam!
Are you guys talking about the British version or something?
You might very well think that, Jeremy.
I couldn't possibly comment. Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's awesome. Okay, so anyway, no. So, my cat, Loki, who is named after the comic book character, but before the movies came out, mind you, also a character in Norse mythology.
Norse deity.
Which I think was also before the movie. If I'm...
Are we talking about the movie Thor?
The Marvel Universe movies, yes.
Okay.
No, anyway, I named him after the comic book character, but also the Norse god. Anyway, so my cat had this horrible, like, urinary tract issue, and he had to go to the vet and have, like, tubes put in him.
Yeah.
Listeners can hear details of John's
story.
cat's urinary infection on Bear Friend Tea Party episode 2.
Actually, it wasn't an infection. It was actually urinary crystals. But that's
blockage, right?
Yeah, blockage.
Did he have both? He had what kind of crystals? He had the same thing Parsnip had, I believe.
I think so. Yeah.
He had like both kind of crystals. Funny story. Okay, funny story.
That's good because this is not a funny story. This is at
So
best
I-
a slightly
These seem
amusing
like sad
anecdote.
stories.
So like when Parsnip had this urinary blockage, I was talking to the vet, like we had to go to the emergency vet, blah blah blah. But the next day I'm talking to the vet and I'm consulting with the vet, and she's like, "Well, he had these crystals, and usually with crystals, there's two kinds. You have they're either calcium or magnesium, and they tend to get I'm probably getting this wrong, the magnesium-based crystals if their urine is basic, and the calcium-based crystals if their
is that
urine
true?
is acidic." And I was like, oh. And then she was like, but in Parsnip's case, he has both.
I'm urinating right now.
Awesome.
And then I was like, wow, is that like impossible?
Maybe
And
that
she was
just
like-
means that like parts of his tract are basic and parts are more complicated. I mean, acidic.
Yeah, she said like, no, it's very common.
I thought no. I've been told by different. This is a different time that he got blocked, but I've been told that there's no way to tell which it is. Like, unless like the cat dies and they do a necropsy or something. But like they have to fix the blockage and then they can take samples like later. But then even then, like half the time they don't know. I don't know.
I think there's a. I don't trust vets that much. I think there's a lot of chicanery going
Yeah,
on
they're always
there.
begging
I don't
for
think-
change on the streets. I know what you mean.
All right, so take it away.
That was a tasteless joke.
Segment two is...
So anyway, I get him to the vet, right? The emergency vet.
Yeah.
Fuck's sake. Oh, that's right. You had a funny
Right.
story.
No. Slightly amusing
No.
anecdote.
I had the funny story. He has the not funny story.
So I get
really
him
need
to
to go to the
the
bathroom.
emergency vet, and he has to stay there like overnight.
Yeah.
And I actually had to come home from work to do it, to take him to the vet. It was like very traumatizing for me. It was horrible, and also probably the cat. Anyway, like he had to stay at the vet for like 3 days at the emergency vet. Ended up costing like
Oh, God.
I don't know, like $1 million. And
Wow.
I went to pick him up, and
It's a good thing you had a job then.
I know, right?
He was making $5 million a day at the time. So.
I was. Yeah, it was.
Oh, was that when you were a barista?
No, that was when I was working retail. Was really raking in the bucks.
That'll do it, yeah.
No,
Paid
so
the
I
vet
went
and
to.
store credit it.
So I went to pick him up at the vet, and I'm sitting in the waiting room, and
Do you accept
They-
like old vinyl? Got this really rare Miles Davis record.
Which one?
it was kind of blue. And I'm waiting in the waiting
That's
room,
not rare.
and they announce, they announce like, so your animal so and so is ready, and there was a dog right before they called Loki's name, and the dog was named Thor,
Whoa.
and then they called Loki, and then they called another dog, and that dog's name was Odin.
No way.
What?
Yeah, listeners will recall that all of these characters are comic book characters from the
And
from the
as well
same
as figures
continuity.
in Norse mythology.
I like that you think of them primarily as characters in the Marvel universe.
Well, it's funnier that way. But-
Were you was this like the Valhalla veterinary service?
That would have been awesome. No, it was called Dove Lewis.
The same thing.
Yeah, but they took animals that weren't doves too. So anyway,
If you
that's
if you went in and got if you went in and had needed your pet to be put to sleep, you just ask for the full Valhalla.
You know, they say they're putting it to sleep, but the vet just takes it out back and strangles it.
No, that's not true.
oh
Oh, really?
yeah, they probably just crush its skull with their hands.
We watched the whole process when we had Parsnip put down.
Yeah, I was. Yeah, that's actually.
You know, we should probably save this for another podcast. We can do a whole episode on pet euthanasia.
That will be a laugh riot.
Where are the youth now? So, like, I go up to the counter, and that's the whole story, but
is this story still continuing? I thought that was the punchline.
No, that was the punchline.
But I'd like to know what happened after that.
I would just, like, I feel like I should point out that, like, I got up to the counter,
and after that, I went up and I was like, thank you for my cat. And they said that will be $1 million.
Well, it's not funny.
And then I just ran away.
Segment 2 is the Bear Friend Tea Party catchphrase search. It occurred to me recently, maybe we would have more listeners if we had a funny catchphrase that we could say, and then people would say it, and we could, like, get some t-shirts made up with the catchphrase printed on it. People would wear them, and they'd see each other wearing them, and they'd be like, hey, and exchange knowing glances. But we need a catchphrase for that. So, I'm gonna give you, like, 2 minutes to think of a catchphrase while I go to the bathroom.
Oh.
And when I come back, I'm gonna expect a catchphrase ready to go.
One from each of us, or are we supposed to discuss it?
I thought we had one. I thought it was Bear Friend Tea Party, the only podcast. I guess that's more of a nickname than a catchphrase.
Yeah, that's it. That's what we'd call it. Tagline, I think.
It's not your parents' podcast magazine.
Is there a catchphrase for dudes with attitude?
I don't know. We could look that up. We'll have to wait till the next episode of Attitude Adjustment.
That will be a really good podcast.
That will be a really good podcast. I figure by the time we launch that podcast, we'll actually be really good at podcasting.
And dudes with attitude.
No. I already reached my apex of skill with that game.
Oh, like that.
In, like, 1998.
That one time that we won it?
Did we? I thought we got, like, really far and then give up.
No, I remember because on, like, the second to last level, you need to, like, have 2 people cooperating to win.
What?
It's true.
Like, you need to
it's
use
like
the second...
Bubble
Like, you need to use the second controller or something?
You can have 2... You can play co-op mode, and then both your guys are on the screen at the same time.
What if you're not in co-op mode?
Then you can't win dudes with attitude. That was what was so fucking annoying, because we had played all the way till, like, we had, like, the one level left, and then we realized that in order to pass that level, you need to go back and do it all again in co-op mode.
That's very Ghosts and Goblins, almost. Like, you get to the very end of the game, and then you find out that the room was an illusion devised by Satan.
I mean, if you know what, if the room's an illusion, it's an illusion. How else?
Then you have to play the entire game again.
Is the second time, is it an illusion, or do you actually get to win the second time?
The second time you actually win, but you have to have the cross weapon equipped when you kill the devil, I think.
Well,
it's unclear if it's I think it's a shield with a cross on it.
And the catchphrase,
yeah. Okay, I'm back.
So
I came up with several good catchphrases.
I only came up with
I was
one.
going to the bathroom. Okay, do you want to start?
Yeah, the catchphrase I thought of was several inherent problems with question.
That's pretty good.
It got a laugh last time, so I thought could be something we could say periodically. I tried to throw it in earlier and no one listened. But
yeah, no, I heard. I'm looking in particular for something that we could, like, put on a T-shirt. You know, that listeners would want to buy the T-shirt.
That would be a great T-shirt. You telling me you wouldn't wear a T-shirt that says several inherent problems with question?
I think that's really good.
And then on the back it says, like,
Bear Friend Tea Party,
or it doesn't even.
Oh, yeah, might not even need that. Yeah,
it could say Bear Friend Tea Party, but without the vowels.
No,
like the email address.
I've got it.
That's our Twitter handle.
Yeah,
here's what
the Twitter handle. Whatever.
No, I've got it. It says several inherent problems with T-shirt.
Oh, and the t-shirt's like poorly put together and has like not enough holes. And it's like really threadbare.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. Okay. What do you got?
That's pretty good.
What do you guys have?
I forget. Okay. I had one of them. So Barefriend Tea Party. No, you shut up. That was one.
I like that.
Yeah.
What
Are you recording?
Are you recording is good.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. And then, wait, now I'm not recording.
That it has the advantage of
They kind of go together.
being
yeah.
something we've already said a lot.
We say
What
a
about-
lot. Yeah.
What about can you hear me?
And then my last one was, you might very well think that. I couldn't possibly comment.
What about do you have a microphone? Is your microphone plugged in?
Oh, how about this one? We have a podcast?
Oh, that's like actually a thing that we've been saying internally in our email.
Yeah,
thread.
yeah.
That's true.
It's like a
But the
catchphrase already.
listeners wouldn't know. Yeah, we should start using that as a verbal joke. Well, I think all of these. I think we should start throwing a lot of these out and see what sticks. You know, it's not like you can't have too many catchphrases.
Oh, that's true. I
That's
foresee
another
a day
good one.
when-
Too many catchphrases. Like,
you
too
don't
many
think-
catchphrases. You know,
I
like
would have gone the direction of you can't have too many catchphrases. The whole sentence.
Yeah, they're both good.
Well, all right, we'll keep both of them.
Both excellent. I
I have
just-
nothing
I'm
to
just
add.
saying-
These are all good.
I think it's worth concentrating on the marketing dimension of this because apparently, John, you didn't hear this, but according to Jeremy, our listener numbers have taken a dive.
A
Recently.
dive?
Yeah, apparently we had 15 subscribers,
That
and now
was-
it's down
I
to
think-
11.
That was an outlier. I think we were kind of hovering around. We were hovering around 13
Well, you know,
for a while.
it's the long-term trend that you really want to keep an eye out for.
That's
you know?
exactly what I said.
You can't be too concerned with the day-to-day. You know, I mean the market will stabilize. You know.
Exactly. Plus, we have. I think we've got a lot of a large contingent of kind of, our dark listeners, the ones that.
Yeah, we're not.
Was that a
They're
racist
kinda-
comment?
No, I mean, they're living off the grid.
That-
They're not
that would
going
be
to
a good
subscribe
catchphrase,
to
too.
the feed. They're not going to show up in that number because they probably just will access the website on the Tor network and stream the episode.
Topic 3: pretzels, chips, or crackers. What do you guys think?
There are several inherent problems with that question.
Beat me
You're
to
right.
it.
That one really works.
It seems like a pretty straightforward question.
I would say.
You want me to flesh that out a bit?
Are we talking
Yeah,
about?
yeah. Flesh it out. Flesh it
Okay.
out.
Give us,
Okay.
Yeah.
For purposes of categorization, should we consider pretzels? Because now there's a moral dimension to it. Should we consider pretzels to be in the chip family or the cracker family? Because I don't know if you guys have this experience, but when I go to the grocery store to buy pretzels, which is usually the main thing I'm looking for, sometimes, different grocery stores put them in different places, and there's never a pretzel aisle,
So
that would be awesome.
we're talking. Are we talking about more we're talking about more where should you put them at the store? Not we're not talking about kind of Aristotelian categories or perfect
Well,
what
maybe
is
that's
the-
maybe that's a
real
good place
true
to start.
taxonomy.
So
Yeah.
should
I'm
and
gonna-
this goes
can
back
I-
to
I'm going to walk back what I said. There are no inherent problems with that question. The way you just phrased it makes complete sense to me, because there's a choice. First, I wanted to say, why does it have to be either or? Why can't they just be their own thing? But you're absolutely right. In a supermarket situation, they've got to go somewhere.
Okay,
as you so rightly say, there's no pretzel aisle. So they're going to go near the chips or near the crackers.
Although
you have to make a choice.
I'm the first person to say
you're against us.
There should be a pretzel aisle, because
I
would argue that there are.
But
I believe that pretzels. You know how light is like. Sometimes it's a particle, sometimes it's a wave. I think that's what pretzels are. I mean, I think they have certain characteristics of chips, but also certain characteristics of crackers. Now, I went on to yes.
Elaborate.
I was just about to say, and I thought this was going to blow your mind, but apparently you're on the same wavelength. I was just going to say that
wavelength, huh?
Yeah, from a taxonomical perspective, I would be more likely to lump them in with crackers, but at the store, I think they should be in the chips aisle.
Wow.
And that's just my gut.
Here's another wrinkle.
Yeah.
Now, there are different types of pretzels. There's like
those big soft pretzels.
There's big soft pretzels. That's like a completely different thing. I hadn't even thought of that yet.
At the supermarket at all.
Yeah, we're not.
That's not even going to be at the supermarket.
There's the little ones that you get like in the at bars and crap. The little teeny ones, and then there's like the big chips. Sourdough ones. There's Bavarian pretzels.
Chips.
That's neither chip nor cracker.
Yeah, I don't know about the Bavarian ones.
Those are like biscuits.
No, chips are usually fried, aren't they? I guess some of them are baked.
What about pretzel chips?
Well, those are definitely chips.
Those are chips. Yeah, those are definitely chips.
Yeah, crackers I think are usually baked.
Question.
Crackers are baked and chips are traditionally fried. So in that sense, pretzels are really more akin to crackers. But I think in the way that you snack on them, I'm more likely. I think they're more interchangeable with crackers in terms of the way you
chips.
With chips, I'm sorry, in terms of the way you eat them. I wouldn't serve like cheese with pretzels.
Okay,
that sounds good though.
I'm going to go to
I don't know why. It just would. I wouldn't like if I had a cheese tray.
You wouldn't put pretzels there. That would be weird.
But I might dip a pretzel in some sour cream dip, maybe.
You might like a pretzel with some melted cheese, but the same could be said of a chip.
So here's what listeners have to say on the topic. This is user Marmar, and he or she says, cracker, because it's made out of bread. Crackers are made out of bread. Most chips are made of some kind of potato, veg, or corn. And potato, I'd like to say, is spelled with an E. There.
Crackers made out of bread?
That's what Marmar says. User question mark says, by definition, a pretzel is neither a chip nor a cracker. A pretzel is
John,
a pretzel.
Can I stop you right there? You identified user question mark as a user. I think you meant to say listener.
I'm sorry, listener.
Listener.
Yes, listener. On this is on the Bear Friend Tea Party message board.
On the forum.
On the forum. We have an active forum with several posts per day.
Yeah.
Listener question mark.
Check us out on the forum.
Hi.
Says,
were you off strangling an animal?
No, I thought I heard a cat fight.
Oh my god, this is really in depth.
It was actually my wife coming home.
Oh, okay. This is a well reasoned argument. Okay, so this is from listener. This listener's username is just a question mark, and they say, by definition, a pretzel is neither a chip nor a cracker. A pretzel is a pretzel that has its own method of preparation that differs from chips and crackers. Pretzels' similarities between crackers and pretzels can be made, but only pretzels are leavened with yeast. This is a little syntax problem there.
I don't know if that's true of your traditional, your like modern snack, dry little pretzel, crackery pretzel.
Yeah. Yeah, you can eat those during Passover because they're unleavened.
Is that true?
I just said it was.
Oh, okay.
And it's possible.
Well, you can't
we-
have too many catchphrases.
We ask each other that a lot. What does that say about us that we always assume each other is lying?
No, you shut up.
My first,
Wait, so
Jeremy,
did
my
you
first
guys-
question to you about the bird thing was, did you in fact do that, or is it a lie?
It was a reasonable question.
It was a reasonable question under the circumstances. Look, I got to wrap this up.
Okay.
Did we settle? It's a cracker, right?
I agree with listener Murphy, who says a pretzel is a
Where
pretzel.
are you getting the?
This is from the forum. This is from our listener forum.
I mean, Oh, well, that makes sense.
This is from our forum and definitely not Yahoo Answers.
Well, I think that may be where I got that bird strangling advice, actually. It was from Yahoo Answers. It's a surprisingly useful site.
See, I would have just gone to, stranglethatbird.org or something.
Strangle that bird!
Well, they clearly have an agenda, though.
Oh.
Wasn't that a Sesame Street movie?
There's a catchphrase. Strangle that bird.
That is a good catchphrase. Pretzel was not among the choices we were given. It was cracker or chip.
That's true. But, it's not like you have to answer the question.
I'm going to say, for the supermarket question, where should it go in the supermarket? I agree with Jeremy. It should go with the chips.
Yeah.
Because it's eaten like a chip.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I can get behind that. What irritates me though is
you
that
you go to the chip aisle. There's all kind of crazy shit there. There's
that's
popcorn,
true.
That's true. There's Funyuns,
puffs.
There's
pork
weird
skins, bunch of
shaped,
bullshit.
swirly,
Those,
swirl
That's true.
things.
Those snackins that mix,
Yeah.
mix, Chex
It's
mix.
all about
Gordettos?
how you eat it.
Gardetto's snack mix.
Yeah.
You've got what are they? Yeah, there was hot.
This would be a
Cheez-Its
perfect
now.
opportunity for me to edit in the song "Chips and Snacks,"
Got,
which is a quality song.
It is a quality song.
they've got popcorn. They sell popcorn in the chip aisle.
Yeah.
And
So
those,
I think that's where the
weird,
pretzels. That's definitely
snack,
where the
those
pretzels
weird,
belong.
kind of puffy, peas. Those things where they fry the peas.
Wasabi peas.
Or like
Is that-
edamame
No,
or
not the
some
wasabi peas.
bullshit?
The things with the whole snap peas that are fried up and they turn into a kind of a rice cracker.
those
Tempura?
things, yeah.
Those are okay.
No, I
Sometimes
know what
even
he's talking about.
they sell beef jerky in the chip aisle. It's just kind of a catch-all.
Yeah. So that's where pretzels.
So
belong.
maybe the
I
real
think it's
question
really-
is, should
the
there be a
aisles are
movement to
misnamed.
rename the aisle? It's just like the snack aisle.
I think that
Yeah,
they should
that's the thing
rename
to be
the
done.
chip aisle the lowbrow snack aisle and the cracker aisle the highbrow snack
Well,
aisle.
that's a loaded statement. But that means
Yeah,
okay.
but-
But right now you have, for instance, you have Cheez-Its in the same aisle as Cars water crackers. I mean, it seemed like if you're going to do the highbrow lowbrow thing, they should be in
the
separate
Cheez-Its
aisles.
should go to the lowbrow aisle. Is that what you're saying?
I think they should.
Well,
You're saying Cheez-Its eaters are like
or hi-ho crackers or
mouth-breathing people.
You ever
who-
tried chicken in a biscuit? Those
I have tried
crackers?
chicken in a biscuit.
No.
They're pretty good.
I think those definitely belong on the highbrow aisle.
You guys like Ritz crackers?
Yeah, I like Ritz
they're
crackers.
Those
okay.
are highbrow.
They're buttery.
Those are highbrow. If
They're
you read
buttery.
the packaging, they always putting all that shit on them.
What about cookies?
I don't know. The Ritz crack there's nothing more lowbrow than going on and on about how highbrow you are.
Cookies have
Am
no
I right?
place in either aisle.
Yeah, cookies are just cookies.
Yeah,
Cookies get their own aisle.
this discussion has gone off the rail now. If we're bringing cookies in.
Yeah. You've got to wrap it up.
I gotta wrap it up. You guys can keep talking, but
No, let's just let's wrap it up real quick. You've been listening to Bear Friend Tea Party, the world's only podcast You can find us at www.flowersofdisgust.com and on iTunes. And you can email us at, what's the email address, Jeremy?
BearFriendTeaParty@AOL.com. You
can find us on Twitter. Our handle is @BefriendTParty, BRFRNDTPRTY. And if you'd like to connect with Bear Friend Tea Party on Facebook, then you'll need to create a page for us, which you should do. We're still offering $20 for the first listener to write in.
You can't just leave a comment on the forums. The forums are very active. You have to send an email to bearfriendteaparty@AOL.com.
Provide evidence that you have listened to at least part of one show.
That's evidence enough.
Am I leaving anything else out?
I think you covered
Oh,
everything.
I think you got it.
Keep strangling those birds.
See ya.
So long.